It's one of the two witnesses. He can't because he died. The only two people that we know of, three people that we know of that never died. Well, no one can prove that John the Apostle died. And interestingly enough, in Revelation, John says he will return to preach once again to the people to the earth, to the nations. And so he very well could return with Enoch or Elijah. Those three people right there, we do not know that they've died. And so it could be two out of the three. Enoch, Elijah, because we know Elijah was taken up in a chariot. We know Enoch was taken up in a chariot. We don't know about John. Even if he may not, it may be symbolic to the fact that it would be the Lord's people preaching His word through the nations. I don't know, but I'm just leaving it out there. I'm leaving the option out there, because clearly we won't know until they're here on earth. And the good news being, some of us not even being here at the time. And so watch for this whole arrival, this whole charade, and especially when Jesus arrives, because I don't know if He's going to do it right away, but He's got this new Jerusalem cubic spaceship that's going to descend to Earth in a mimicry of the New Jerusalem. And I had a website, crystalcityfraud.com, that I put up 2 years ago. And now that I see this cubic thing coming in the codes, I could see why they were so furious about that website, because it was exposing their plans that they had. And I put up that website 2 years ago. But it is going to be a cubic. He's got some kind of cubic spaceship. He's going to hover above the earth and say, oh, look, this is the New Jerusalem. So it's really, really going to be a good deception, folks. It's not going to be some half-assed thing that they've thrown together at the last minute. This is something with all of the details very, very fine-lined, worked on, engineered over the past thousands of years. Something that technology that will exist that we're not even familiar with, that they're going to be able to pull this stuff off. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. Another way of enforcing this implantation, this chip thing, and this cleansing program is that if you want a tour of this New Jerusalem, then you have to be cleansed. You have to be drinking this white gold stuff. You have to be cleansing your body of all impurities and blah, blah, blah. Or they could say that you have to join their kingdom by getting this chip implant. They're going to come with bribes. I see it all the time. They're going to come with bribes. And when that doesn't work, they'll just pull out a gun and shoot you. They'll just pull out a knife and chop your head off. It's like, go along with the program or die. We're going to do it the nice way. We're going to tell you we're gods, we're ascended masters. We're going to give you a new life on earth, a new body. Okay, but if you don't want to disagree, we're going to kill you. And you know what? What's really funny is that just being a follower of the Most High all these years, and you hear the atheists and the agnostics, and they're all disgruntled over a God trying to tell them what to do. Wait till these guys arrive. They don't like the Most High God telling them that if they don't follow Him, they're going to be thrown in the lake of fire. Wait till these guys arrive. They haven't seen anything yet. And so that's exactly what their program is going to be. And I've heard them talk out of both sides of their mouths on these New Age sites. They'll tell them, well, we're just going to take them, for the people who refuse to drink this Kool-Aid, we're just going to be cleansed. We're just going to take them to another planet. And they'll be, taught and encouraged to change their ways before they can come back to Earth. They're going to kill them. And I even had an email saved from the Sananda himself admitting that they're not taking them to other planets to rethink their thoughts. They're just going to kill them. They're going to kill them. Eventually, when you learn how to press their buttons, you'll see them for what and exactly who they are. Because they can't stay nice for very long. And they certainly don't. But I want to talk about the locusts of Revelation 9. Because this is something else that I've been seeing in the codes in relation to Maitreya. And so I was thinking, I wonder if he is the angel that comes down and releases these locusts out of the abyss, because I kept seeing them in the codes at the same time. About the same time you see Maitreya, you're going to see this locust invasion of Revelation 9. And so I started doing some work on that in the codes. But he's not the angel. I don't think that unlocks the abyss, because a king, Abaddon, whatever, Apollyon, Abadu in Aramaic, is Satan himself. Satan himself is the king over these locusts. But what you're going to find, because even Maitreya, I think, gets shocked that they're here, but they're his allies. They're all working together. From what I'm finding in the Bible codes is these locusts will arrive after Maitreya arrives. And they are actually some kind of bugs. They're locusts, they're hornets, they're buzzards, they hum, they sting. And so, because I know I've mused on that before, thinking, what if they're just aliens flying helicopters with tasers or whatever? And we know that there's going to be those kinds of beings here on Earth. I mean, there's eons of black helicopters. They've got whole bases full of them waiting to come and enforce martial law and do everything else. And, of course, we already know that a lot of these aliens are flying these black helicopters because the people could see them in Katrina. The dogs would just go nuts when they started flying over the city because there aren't even humans flying them. But not as these locusts. These locusts are literally bugs. And so that was a clarification from the Lord himself, showing me and telling me what exactly these locusts are. Another thing is that when they're released, the smoke of the pit will block out the sun. So then you have not only some kind of a big dish or plate that they have up in space that can block out the sun, these locusts will block out the sun. And it's going to be dark. The ground will frost from the darkness. It's going to be hazy, foggy, chilly, and dark at this time. And so any kind of, if this happens any time where people are planting crops for the season, because we know famine's coming. Famine is just dominant because just the name Maitreya, just this clone of Cain, just his mere appearance on Earth, he's the horse of famine. And so just him being around is famine. And so this is some of the ways these famines are going to be caused. From the earth being dark all the time, killing crops, these causing frost, and the crops dying. But these locusts are going to circulate around the entire world, inflicting pain on mankind for 5 months. And these locust beings, they're not just bugs, like I said. I mean, they are bugs. They look like bugs. But they're actually demonic beings, because you remember I think it was a Medieval Horror 3 or 4 or whatever it was, the last one was. When the priest goes in the house to exorcise the house of the demons, me and my son were laughing, and he opens up this vent, this window in a room, and all these ghastly flying creatures come flying out at him and attacking him, and he's screaming, and I was on the floor laughing. Because these creatures have no power over Satan. They're part of Satan's program. Because how does Satan cast out Satan? They just piss him off. That's all they do. I won't get into why the reasons I'm laughing. I was laughing, but he's attacked by these flying, ghastly things, and that's exactly what I'm seeing these locusts of Revelation 9 as being. They're actually real demonic beings, but in these bodies of bugs. Because I've always known that this Revelation 9, this locust invasion, is one of the different alien invasions we're having here on Earth. And that's because they are fallen angels. These locusts are just trapped in these bug bodies or whatever it is. And so they're going to be around for about 5 months. They're going to circulate the Earth. They're going to be everywhere. These are angels that were involved in Satan's rebellion against the Lord, that were locked and chained in the abyss. I think it's Enoch that talks about it. But they were locked and chained in the abyss, and they're going to be allowed out in these last days, because Satan's going to be able to utilize all of his fallen angel armies to implement his agenda on Earth. And so that's why you'll see the angel in Revelation chapter 9. I was going to read that chapter tonight, but I'm running out of time, so I probably won't do that tonight. But the angel comes down from Earth, and he unlocks the pit and releases all these locusts onto the Earth. And these are supposed to be Satan's allies, help him establish his reign on Earth or whatever. But it's all these bugs, it's these locusts. These are the ones, along with the other alien invasions we're going to have, that we're